G'day guys and welcome back to the channel. In this episode we finish up our travels around Trinidad. We start with a visit to the annual Agri Expo, take a road trip through the southern half of the island, indulge in some great food, and finally launch Why Not and say our goodbyes to this wonderful country. The Agri Expo is a 3-day event held in Queen's Park, Savannah, located in the heart of Port of Spain, and is the largest agricultural expo in the region. This year, over 400 exhibitors, including agri-businesses, government agencies, government ministries, as well as local vendors, participated. They were housed in these themed pavilions and showcased all sorts of innovations, technologies and investments designed to improve food security on the island and throughout the region. It was a wonderful way to spend a Sunday afternoon. There were also several animal exhibits. Here you can see parrots, a macaw, and some giant rat-type animals called agouti. One exhibit featured animals that lived on Trinidad, from caiman crocodiles to owls and other bird life. To this little darling, a 10-foot long green anaconda. We met a great Canadian couple, Mike and Cynthia, in the boatyard, and we decided we should all rent a car and explore the south side of Trinidad. They had heard about the mud volcanoes, Pitch Lake and Iquitos Point, and we were just up for the exploration. It was an amazing time. We all hit it off and spent the day laughing, poking fun and enjoying the island. A lot of Trinidadians have small farm holdings and grow not only their own food but different vegetables or fruits to sell to the local market or at a street stall to make a living. The countryside was beautiful. Rich soil, abundant rain and a caring touch made for plenty of crops. The first stop of the day was Paparo Mud Volcano. The south side of Trinidad is very volcanic, and as you can see there are quite a number of these mud volcanoes. These volcanoes are formed when mud, water and gases erupt from the ground. From the aerial view of Paparo you can see that the area covered is quite sizable, and we expected something to look like this. This is another location on the island. Let's just say that what we got was the cause of much laughter. And with Mike in the background, I bet you get the idea why. While the volcano was a little disappointing, the next feature was not planned and totally unexpected. Growing up in Australia during the 70s and 80s, cricket was a huge part of my summers, and during that time the West Indies had one of the greatest teams around. Arguably the best batsman of all was Brian Lara. And to my surprise, in the middle of the countryside in the south of Trinidad was this, the Brian Lara Cricket Academy, a giant facility and cricket pitch dedicated to hosting World Championship games and training the next generation of West Indian cricketers. After the pleasant surprise of the academy, it was on to the La Brea Pitch Lake. This is the world's largest natural deposit of asphalt, and as you can see from this Google Earth image, it is enormous. It has about 10 million tonnes of pitch in it. The three natural asphalt lakes are this one, Lake Guanoco in Venezuela, and the more well-known tar pits of Los Angeles. I have to say, this was one of the most interesting sites I have ever visited. Located on the edge of the village of La Brea, Pitch Lake Tourist Board provided a picnic area and a small museum. The first interesting fact is the ground is constantly moving toward the lake as the asphalt moves along the fault lines. The gateway into the lake is a good example of this. When it was erected, it was straight and the gate closed within the pillars. The main difference between this and the other lakes mentioned is that here the pitch is solid and sort of moves like a very cool lava. Here you can see Cynthia climbing over some as it makes its way to the lake. On the way to the lake we pass several fruit trees such as mango, cashew nut, cherry and breadfruit. There was also an abundance of flowers like water roses, nymph lilies, and what is my favourite of all, the bird of paradise. Here you can see the iron deposits that are in the soil, causing the rust colour as water washes over it. The asphalt is mined by an excavator or a track hoe and then placed into these train cars to be taken to the facility in the background. Steam is used to melt the pitch before it is screened, cooled and shipped. The whole process takes about 5 days. If you look close, you can see where the train track was before it sank into the asphalt and had to be moved. And here is why you need a guide. Some parts of the lake are liquid, and should you wander into them, you'd be in trouble. A lot of birds and small animals, etc., get caught in this sticky stuff every year, eventually becoming part of the lake. And while the lake is solid, don't stand too long in the same spot. The asphalt is formed when debris from the Miocene and Pliocene periods breaks down. It forms the oil-based products that's found here. Part of this process causes methane gas, which makes its way to the surface. Here, our guide is trying to light it. However, the wind this day was fairly heavy, so no luck with his little trick. On the way back to the car, I just couldn't help but photograph more of the beautiful birds of paradise flower. While on our travels in the south of the island, Michelle and I had brought lunch for everyone. We met a lady just after arriving at Peak's Yacht Services who runs a food stall. She made some of the best sandwiches a person could ever eat. Her name is Chica, and for a few hours every weekday she sets up her stall until she sells out. She was one of the most humble, considerate and delightful people you would meet. We enjoyed her food, probably too much. But it was authentic, cooked with love Trinidadian fare. She offers a choice of coconut bread or flatbread, 5 styles of meat, approximately 10 different add-ons, including a homemade cheese spread that was heaven. Finish it off with a tamarind sauce, garlic sauce, or Scotch bonnet sauce. The simple fact is you couldn't go wrong, and you always felt better after a visit to Chica's. The last stop of this trip was Iquitos Point, the southernmost point in Trinidad. To get there, you drove down the coast road past Columbus Beach, through a town called Cedros, and then right through the middle of an enormous coconut plantation. When you arrived at the point, it was a small fishing village on a white sandy beach that overlooked oil platforms and Venezuela about 6 nautical miles south. However, it was breathtaking. And it was fun watching the locals launch their boats in a unique way. The day had finally come. The work was finished. Why Not was repaired. We had toured the island, and it was time to bid the country of Trinidad goodbye. Once again, the expertise of the travel lift crew was relied on to carefully maneuver us from our place on the hard, back down the road, and into the slipway. It had been a long but rewarding 53 days out of the water. We'd met some wonderful people who will be friends for a lifetime. Travelled the island nation from north to south and east to west. Made some memories to carry with us into the future. Well, that's it for this week. And as Trinidad disappears behind us, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. We hope you enjoyed Trinidad as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. But above all, remember to get out there, explore, engage and experience all this great planet has to offer. Until next time.